Let's go. Right. Well, hi there, folks. It's another workshop from WP-Tonic. There's me, the founder and CEO of WP-Tonic, Jonathan Denwood, and I've got my colleague Haroon with me. This is part 2 of a series of videos that we're going to be doing about how to install, set up LearnDash if you're looking to build a membership website on WordPress. Haroon, would you like to quickly introduce yourself to those that are watching this video?
Yes, thank you, Jonathan. Hello, everyone. This is Haroon, and I manage CRM, marketing automation, e-learning systems, and integrations between WordPress plugins, taking a few plugins and making it into a solution. So that's what I focus on, and I do this consultancy for WP-Tonic. And other than that, I have my own business called Happy Cloud. And I've been working in the WordPress ecosystem for the past around 14 years or so by now. So I've worked with pretty much everything that's out there for WordPress. So I know what works best with what other plugins, how to set all of them up in a way to build a cohesive solution that works for your business.
That's right. And you'll find the links to WP-Tonic and our full hosted solution that includes LearnDash and a link to Haroon as well in the supporting show notes. In this, like I say, this is part 2. In part 1, which if you're starting out with LearnDash, I would recommend that you watch, and you'll find the link in the supporting show notes as well. We went through the real basics of getting it installed, getting WordPress set up, getting LearnDash installed. In this, we're going to go further about how you set up a lesson, a course, how you set up a login page, and how you can customize a dashboard when an actual student actually logs in to one of your courses. The basic setup, basically. We're going to go over to Haroon now. You want to get your screen up, Haroon, and
Certainly.
then we can go straight into it.
Certainly.
Oh, there we go.
So here we have the WordPress dashboard of the same site on which I showed you how to install and configure the basic settings of LearnDash in our last session. And now we're going to proceed with the actual course creation. So to do that, we go to this courses section in LearnDash LMS. Over here, we click this add your first course button, or if you've already added courses over here, you see a list of courses over here. You can simply click add new over here to get started. So this is the LearnDash course builder, and if you've worked with any sort of content creation in WordPress in the past, it should be familiar with you. It's very similar to the Gutenberg WordPress experience that you should already be familiar with. This is the default course builder that LearnDash presents you with when you start creating any course. There's also this builder section that we'll see shortly, but over here, you're going to give this course a title. Let's say Introduction to WordPress. In this course, we'll walk you through the process of setting up your first WordPress website. You can type whatever description you want for the course. And both of these are going to be front facing. The title is just going to show up wherever you need it to. And the description in many themes that are built for LearnDash, and in case you build your own layout using Elementor or any other page builder compatible with LearnDash, you're going to want to show this description just the way you show an excerpt or a sort of a snippet, descriptive snippet in any list or grids of courses that you have on the site. And then we have some settings over here related to the course or related to the block that we're editing. This is just Gutenberg experience, the standard WordPress building experience. I'm not going to go through that. There's the slug. This is going to be part of the URL of the course. I'm just going to keep it to the auto-generated introduction to WordPress. And you can add a featured image over here from your media library. You can select one or you can upload a file. I'm just going to select this default placeholder image added by Elementor for now. And then you click publish. And then you can click view course. I'm going to open it in a new window. And this is how it's going to look. There's nothing in it, but the course has been set up. So a course comprises of not just a title and description, but also lessons and topics. And that's what we build in the builder section. Now, when we click this builder section, we're going to be brought to this LearnDash course builder, in which we have the option to include any existing lessons in a course or create a new lesson altogether. And we can also organize those lessons in sections. Sections are basically headings under which you can bunch a few lessons together. So let's click new lesson. And over here, we can enter the title. I'm just going to call this one intro, or maybe preface, actually about the course, about this course. And let's add a few other lessons. What is WordPress? Maybe one called installing WordPress. Setting up or configuring WordPress settings. Creating and editing content. And maybe one more topic of one more lesson of adding e-commerce, or actually let's call this installing plugins. I missed one about the themes, but I mean, this is a good enough start for us. So you get the idea. You set up your lessons over here, and let's say I want these to be divided into multiple sections. First section is setup, and the other section could be called usage, and then another section could maybe be called customization. So I can organize. Now I can drag and drop these lessons, and I can also drag and drop these section titles. So maybe I want to bring setup over here, and then usage over here, and then customization over here. Maybe we want to add a couple new lessons to make sure that every section has multiple lessons. Changing the theme, installing plugins, and maybe just one more lesson for the usage section. other than creating and editing content, maybe setting up forms. Yeah. And perhaps we can bring customization up here, because one would need to set up themes and plugins before they proceed with forms generally and content. So yeah, now this gives our course a nice structure. We start off with an about sort of a lesson, and then we go to setup, where, sorry, let's move this out. About, then setup, installation, settings, and then changing theme, installing plugins under customization, and creating and editing content and setting up forms under usage. So this gives us a good enough sort of a framework for our course. And we can then proceed with quiz creation if we want right away, or we can revisit this and set up quizzes later, and we can start editing any of the lessons that we have set up. So let's start editing this about the course lesson. Sorry, before we do that, we should save everything. Where is the save button when you need it? Why isn't this showing up? Yes, update. So now if we come and refresh the course, we should see that the course actually has some content, at least the titles of these lessons that we've set up, and you can see how these lessons are organized under the section headings that I set up over here. Now let's proceed with editing the first lesson, and that's where we want to add the real content of that lesson. This is going to take you from the course builder to the lesson builder. And over here, we're going to add some lesson content. I'm not going to actually create content for that. I'm just going to go to Ipsum and copy some placeholder text from there. I like this hipster Ipsum. This is like a lorem ipsum generator, but it uses hipster language. Okay, so I've generated a few paragraphs over here. Let me copy a few. This should be enough. Paste them here and update it. We have now set up our first lesson. Let's refresh the course. And now if we click about this course, we see the content of the first lesson that we've just set up. And since we have clicked a lesson, we are enrolled in the course. I set this up as just a free course with everyone having access to it. There was no restriction added in the setup, and that's why I'm enrolled, and it shows me as in progress. I can mark this lesson as complete or move on to the next lesson without marking this as complete. And this is the front end that we get without any customizations, without any specific theme that is optimized to showcase LearnDash courses in an optimal way. But this is just like bare bones LearnDash front end. And it's functional enough. It's just not pretty. You can do that. You can do the entire prettification using any page builder. That's something that we're going to see later. Right now, we're only focused on creating the course content. And let's say we want to add a video over here. We just bring our cursor to where we want to add the video, and we click this plus, and we search video. And over here, we've got this YouTube or this video block, and we can insert the video block. Oops, I inserted it twice by mistake. Let me remove one. And we can upload a video or browse our media library to include a video. Now I'm going to quickly upload a small video file that I have on my computer that was built as an intro to a WordPress course that I had built a few years back. Oh, this exceeds the maximum upload size for the site. Let me find a smaller one. Yeah, this one is only 15 MB. This shouldn't give us any issues while uploading. So on the note of this size constraint, if you are on a third-party host, you can ask your host to help you with this. Or if you have control over your own hosting environment, then you should know how to increase the maximum upload size for WordPress. But generally, you would have the server administrator or host handling your installation to take care of this. And if you are on WP-Tonic hosting, you just let us know the maximum size of the files that you want to upload, and we'll take care of you. Though we're not going to recommend hosting files on the web hosting setup. There are other ways to skin that cat, better ways, and we've already discussed those in the previous session. Let's call this Intro to WordPress. So in that case, instead of directly uploading a video over here, if your video is already hosted somewhere else, what you're going to do is use the embed code of that video, and you're just going to insert the embed code over here where you can type or choose a block, and then that embedded video is going to show up in the course. There are other ways to handle this as well in case you have more of a, sorry, just a second. In case you have a setup where you want the video to be in a separate custom field, then you can use something like advanced custom fields to set up a separate video field for every lesson. And then whatever you're using to build the front end of the courses, be it through custom coding, be it through Elementor, you'll have a separate field that is not embedded within the content block itself, so that you can show that field independent of this entire content wherever you want. Let's say you have a grid of courses in which a preview video is being shown for every grid item. In that case, having the video as a custom field will let you embed that video in that grid without having to embed the entire all of this content for every lesson over there. And we can now proceed further to do the same with other lessons. We can go back to lessons. Once we're happy with the way this lesson has been set up, we can go back to lessons. And this is going to bring us to our list of lessons. And these two were, I think, created as part of some demo content. Let me get rid of these two because we don't need these. So you see all the lessons that we had set up when we created the course in reverse chronological order. The one that we created first is appearing all the way at the bottom. And you can just handle the content over here just the way you would manage pages, posts, or any other content type in WordPress. And you also get to see that what course is this lesson assigned to. Over here, you see setting up forms. Over here, you see assigned courses, introduction to WordPress. Now, there's also a way to directly come into the lesson section and create your lessons first before creating the course and adding those lessons to the course. That's entirely up to you. It's just a personal choice. And let's take a look at topics. So we have no topics over here. If we want to go beyond lessons, if we may choose to create topics which are sort of subsections of lessons. So a lesson may comprise of maybe a few different topics that are covered in that particular lesson, but you don't have to use topics if that's not how your course is structured. It's just something that's there in case you need it. So for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to add a lesson over here. Let's call it hosting requirements. These requirements should be set before signing for a web hosting account for your LearnDash courses. a LearnDash courses website. Maybe add a list, speed. We're actually going to have more details over here, but I'm just going to add just a few random words. Let's say performance, security, scaling, CDN, and support. Let's just go with this for now, but you'd probably want to provide more details. And now that the topic has been set up, we're going to go back to topics. Actually, we're going to go all the way back to lessons. And in installing WordPress, we're going to edit that lesson. And we are going to add the topics to the lesson. Oh, by the way, you can also set up a featured image for any lesson you want. Where's the list of topics? Sorry, just a moment. I generally don't use topics. I've mostly only had the occasion to use lessons directly and just adding all the content to the lessons. So I can't seem to find. Let's go to actually Course Builder and see there. If Course Builder lets us add lessons more easily, let's edit our course. Let's go to Builder. And for some reason, I'm not seeing the topic editor over here, the way to add topics over here, which is very strange. Because I remember there was a way to add topics to lessons. Let's expand. Ah, yes. So if we expand a particular lesson in the course builder, then we get the option to add a new topic over here, or we can assign an existing topic to it from a list of topics. Now, where is the list of topics from which I can drag? Let's just create a new topic over here. Instead of what is WordPress, course objectives, add the topic, and let's call this one what you'll need. This is the way you can add lessons, attach lessons to, attach topics to a lesson. And then we can go to the edit interface after updating. Make sure that before you leave to the editing interface for a lesson or a topic, you save the course builder, the course in the course builder. After finishing this course, you will be able to build a website using WordPress, add forms to it to get input from your users, your rather visitors, add a shop to sell products or services, and also offer courses on your website. I think this is good enough for now. And let's take a look at the course view. So over here, you see that in addition to this content that we had added to the lesson itself. When we scroll down, we see the lesson content view that shows us all the topics that are part of the lesson. So if you're going to go the topic route, then it'll be a good idea to have a very brief intro for every lesson and then have all the details sorted out in topics. So in that case, topics would be the primary structure element that you're going to be the primary content element that you're going to be setting up, and lessons and courses would serve as structural elements to organize all of your topics together in a way that makes it easy for your users to consume that content. So in that case, the primary content would be in topics rather than in lessons. But if you don't need topics, if you just need a course with every bit of content organized in lessons, then you can just do that. And in that case, you're going to actually add the content as part of the lesson rather than as part of the topic. It's a choice that's personal to you. You can choose to make it. And this pretty much covers the basic course content creation process. But we've got one really important thing left, which is quizzes. So once someone's done with studying the lessons and topics that you've provided, then you probably want to make them go through a quiz before they proceed to the next section. Or you may want to just have one quiz at the end of the entire course that will help your students do a self-assessment, and you as an administrator would obviously get to see all that they've done in those lessons, in those quizzes. So for that, you can come directly to this quizzes section, or you can just go to your course, edit the course, go to this course builder, and over here, you can start setting up a final quiz, or you can set up a quiz pertaining to a lesson over here as well. When you expand a lesson, you'd be able to add a quiz that pertains to that particular lesson. So let's create a quiz within this lesson. This would be a lesson-specific quiz. Let's say after we've told them about this course, we want to do a basic assessment to get to see whether they're actually following what we're providing them or not. So let's call this quiz or is WordPress for you. Yeah, let's just do an is WordPress for you quiz at this stage. So we create the quiz. Now that the quiz has been created, you get to see it has a different icon. The topics have a circle with T, the lessons have a circle with L, and the quizzes, they have a circle with a search, so a sort of, what do you call it, that lens, a magnification glass, yeah. And we can create more quizzes over here, or we can drop topics to arrange the flow. You can have like multiple topics and then a quiz and then multiple topics in a lesson. So a quiz doesn't necessarily have to be at the end of a lesson. It could be between topics as well. Or you can just edit any particular quiz, and that'll take you directly to the quiz editing interface, which is what we're going to see right away. So over here, we're in the quiz builder, and we can add quiz content over here. Maybe just an overview. This quiz will help us assess whether or not WordPress is the right tool for your requirements. And then we go to this builder, and this builder lets you set up questions for the quiz, assign points, and decide the passing benchmarks. So let's add a question Are you comfortable with are you comfortable with setting up a website on your own? Or maybe, let's update it. So here we add questions first, and then we can edit the type of the question. We can provide the correct answer, and we can also provide some incorrect answers. So let's say, or maybe, actually, let's change it a bit. Let's make it. We're gonna now go into the question editing interface, because I clicked edit on the question, which wasn't something I intended to do actually. So I'm gonna come back here. Sorry about that. So we're back in the quiz builder. Over here, yeah, we can set the type of question. It could be a single choice, multiple choice, free choice, in which they can just type in whatever they want, sorting choice. So you can experiment with the types to see what works for your particular question's requirements. It could be like a fill in the blank question, or it could be an assessment question. And let's go with multiple choice for now. Yeah, let's make it how comfortable you are with setting up a website on your own, maybe. Yeah. And then we could have a few answers. This one could be maybe very comfortable, somewhat comfortable, and not comfortable. So we've set up some answers, and let's say this particular question is supposed to have only one correct answer. Then you're going to mark the correct one with this as correct over here, and update it. Maybe add a few more questions, and all of those questions would overall build up that particular quiz of yours. You can come to this quiz settings, and you can see that it is associated with the Introduction to WordPress course. You can change the association if you want. One particular quiz may have multiple associations with multiple courses as well. So let's say you have a course, you have a bunch of courses, and there's a particular quiz that applies to multiple courses. You can associate it with multiple courses. You can associate it with lessons, and you can set up prerequisites for a quiz as well. And you can see, you can check whether only registered users can take the quiz, or if anyone can take the quiz. Generally, for practical WordPress sites running LearnDash, you're going to have at least a registration requirement, so that those who take your courses at least provide you with their email address, so that you can market your paid courses to them, or you can reach out to them with information. So generally, you would want to keep your course content restricted to only those who are registered and who are signed into your site. And then you can specify a passing score. You can select a certificate that would be awarded when someone passes this quiz. This would generally be applicable only to the final assessment quiz of an entire course, because generally you don't give out certificates for completing lessons, completing quizzes that are only parts of lessons or topics. And you can enable quiz saving. In that case, someone can partially complete a quiz and then come back to do the rest of it later. And you can also specify whether all questions are required to be able to complete the quiz, or someone can leave questions unanswered, and you can set a time limit for completing the quiz. And then there are some other options related to quiz material, some advanced options. We can't go through all of these options. Many of them are self-explanatory, and then some have this question mark sign next to them. You can click that to see the help for that particular option, which will guide you through setting up your quiz the way you want. And this applies across LearnDash. And then there are the result display options over here. How do you want the result message to show up? What components do you want to show your users among the results? Do you just want to show them their final score, or you want to show them more fine-grained details like time they've spent, the number of correct answers? You get the idea. And then custom answer feedback, if you want to provide them with feedback on incorrect answers so that they get to know the right answer and they get to know what they've missed, what they've done wrong. And then you can let them restart the quiz when they're done reviewing the results. And then these are some administrative and data handling settings. These are advanced. Many of you will never need to use these. So I'm going to update this quiz, or simple one question quiz, and I'm going to refresh my lesson in the front end. And right here in the lesson content, we see two of our topics and then our quiz. So clicking the quiz will bring us to the questions that we've set up for the quiz. We have to click Start Quiz. So in case we have multiple questions, we'll have a next button over here instead of just a finish quiz button, and the finish one would appear at the last answer. If you've made this requirement for users to answer all questions, and then the finish quiz would appear after they've answered the last one. And if that requirement hasn't been set, then next and finish quiz buttons would appear side by side. That pretty much sums up the course creation process. We're going to go back to quizzes and then all the way back to LearnDash. And if you want to edit any questions directly at any other point, you can come to quizzes, edit a quiz, and go to the quiz builder and edit those questions. Or you can come to this question section and edit a question directly over here. There's way too much to cover in the entire editing experience. There are multiple ways to do the same thing, so I'm not going to cover all of them. But as you can see, it's fairly straightforward to grasp. And then there's certificates. In certificates, you set up the certificate that you're going to award users when they finish a particular quiz. And generally, as I mentioned, you want to do this for a quiz that is the final assessment quiz of the entire course. So it would essentially be the certificate for your course. But there may be edge cases where you've got a huge course and it's it's divided into, let's say, a semester-based system or a term-based system. Let's say you have a course that will run its course across a year, and you want them to give assessment certificates after every 3 months. You could do that. You could have quarterly quizzes and then have an assessment for those particular quizzes and assign certificates to those. Okay, and let's call this certificate certificate completion WordPress, or maybe we can call it WP-Tonic certified WordPress builder. Let's just call it that. And this is to certify, or actually, we're going to build the certificate later. Let's publish it. And let's go to the visual builder. Yeah, over here you can build the certificate how you want. The default certificate builder offered by LearnDash isn't very robust. You can assign a featured image, but generally the default builder isn't robust enough. You would probably want to install an add-on that adds more enhanced certificate building options, but you can choose to build it over here if you want, and you can then print it on a page that has the template for your certificate printing. So you have to maybe experiment on what gets printed where, the layout, but that's an editorial sort of work rather than administrative work. So we're going to focus more on how to set things up rather than the entire editing experience for a certificate right now. And you can set up the page size, whether it's landscape or portrait, and then it's all on your creativity on how you build it. And you see a message over here that to view the certificate, you must first assign it to a quiz or a course. And once you complete the assigned milestone, you can generate the certificate. So let's go to our quizzes. And let's edit the quiz that we had set up. Let's come to the Builder tab. And sorry, the Settings tab, not the Builder tab. And over here, we can associate a certificate with this quiz. So we've selected the certificate that we've just created. We select the award score to be the threshold that we require for someone to actually pass and get the certificate. And we update the lesson that we were editing. Now, if I reload this quiz, start it, and finish it, I can print my certificate. And this is as blank as it gets because we didn't add anything. But now I'm going to actually show you how you're going to experiment with building the layout of the certificate. Just a little bit of an overview, because we don't want to spend all our time building a certificate that's not going to be used. I'm just going to maybe add a couple of lines. This is to certify that the user has. I'm going to later tell you how to replace the user with the name of the person who has finished the certificate. We're not going to get into that right away. Right now, I just want to show you an overview. Has completed the WP-Tonic WordPress Builder course. And I'm going to now print my certificate again. And you see, it appears over here. So this is sort of a canvas for you to build the certificate the way you want. We're going to get into how to add the name of the person later. And close this for now. So that was the overall course creation and editing process. We've covered courses, lessons, topics, quizzes, questions, and certificates. And this brings us to groups, which is the last component of managing sort of like organizing how your courses are structured and how people have access to them. So you can create groups to not just assign different different types of courses to one overall cohesive unit, but you can also create administrators for those groups, and then those group administrators.
I think that we're going into a slightly more advanced, which we'll probably cover because we're getting close to the end of this particular video. And what we're probably going to cover in the next video is a couple of questions that come up. Basically, if you've got more than one course, how do you show those courses in a grid, or how do you set up a login page, a custom login page, because you don't want them logging into the back of WordPress. That is not a good idea. So you basically need a login page, and then that's not like logging into the back of WordPress, and then you need a custom area that they log into, which you can customize. And we'll probably look at the certificate which Haroon's just touched. So that's some topics, because time has gone quick, as I say. So we're going to end this. Got any questions? Just leave any questions you got in the video. We'll try and answer them. And we'll be back pretty soon with part 3. Hopefully you enjoyed this. We'll see you soon, folks. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oops.